So it's my pleasure to introduce two young men whom we intend to field for the first time in this coming GE. I'll start off with Abdul Muhaimin. So Abdul Muhaimin, we've known him for a long time actually, because he's been working for about 10 years in the Aljunied-Hougang Town Council as a senior property officer. He is a graduate from the Nanyang Technological University, NTU, in mechanical engineering. So he's been involved with the party since 2019, about 6 years already, particularly active in Sengkang GRC. He was doing house visits from the early days, and then, of course, when we had the vacancy in Compassvale, he stepped up his activities there, and he's been working very closely with our Sengkang GRC MPs, organizing things like house visits, meet people session, and other community outreach activities. So with his knowledge of the ground in Sengkang, it is WP's intention that he will be fielded in Sengkang GRC this coming election.
I am also a son, a husband, and a soon-to-be father. Though I may not look like it, but I'm just in my mid-30s. I know what it feels like to worry about your kids' future, housing loans, daily expenses, and whether you have enough during your retirement. These are the real struggles that the Sengkang residents have shared with me when I was on the ground. That is why I'm stepping up to speak up for them, to highlight their struggles and concerns and be their voice.
Next, I'd like to introduce Kenneth Tiong Boon Kiat. So Kenneth likes to describe himself as a coder, but before he went there, I think he was working for some hedge funds, before finally now owning his own business, which is called SenseMake AI. He can tell you more about that later. Kenneth graduated from Brown University in the United States with a Bachelor of Science in Applied Mathematics, Computer Science, and Philosophy. As for his involvement with the Workers' Party, he began volunteering in 2023, working with our policy team, and also doing various ground outreaches in East Coast, Aljunied, particularly in Bedok Reservoir, Punggol, and in Serangoon. In late 2023, our leader of the opposition, Pritam Singh, appointed him as one of his legislative assistants. Since earlier this year, Kenneth has been quite pivotal in our Serangoon division of our Aljunied GRC, where he is helping us to coordinate the Meet People sessions, constituency outreach, welfare activities, and so on. And with that in mind, it's our intention to field him in our Aljunied GRC.
If elected, I will champion three core things. First, making Singapore a leader in innovation, creating great jobs right here. Second, strengthening economic security and fairness for every Singaporean family, because security fuels progress. And third, fighting for strong family foundations, affordable public housing, the highest education standards for every child, and upholding the fundamental right to love and build a family, including for lower-income Singaporeans and those with foreign spouses. Let's build that future together. Thank you.
I will introduce the other two candidates today. I will first start with the lady on my right, Alia. Alia is a legal counsel in a multinational corporation. She has been an advocate and solicitor since the year 2006. She practiced as a private legal practitioner in a small firm initially, in specializing in family and corporate litigation. And then from 2008 to 2016, she moved to the Monetary Authority of Singapore, where she started as a legal counsel. And since 2017, she's been, as I mentioned earlier, she's been a legal counsel with an MNC. Alia joined the Workers' Party as a volunteer almost 1 year ago. And as part of the ground team of volunteers, she was involved in our weekly house visits, distributing Workers' Party collaterals, and also engaging residents on the ground with regard to their feedback and their concerns.
I am from the sandwich generation. That is to say, I take care of my children, and I also take care of my aged father. I am, as a lot of Singaporeans are, concerned about the ever-increasing cost of living, which affects everyone. We need to think about building a future for our children. Personally, one of the biggest concerns that I have is thinking about how my children will afford the cost of living in Singapore and how they will be able to afford an HDB flat even, which should be an affordable home and not only a wealth accumulation vehicle. At the same time, the older generation also needs more assistance, and this comes from my own personal experience of looking after my father. We need to look into how we can help them to handle the finances that arise from chronic diseases.
The next candidate I would like to introduce is Eileen Chong. So Eileen currently works in the social impact sector, where she leads the early childhood development, education and youth mental health and well-being portfolios at Asia Philanthropy Circle. She joined the APC in June 2024. From 2017 to 2024, Eileen served at the Singapore Ministry of Foreign Affairs. At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs headquarters, she covered Singapore's bilateral relations with China, Thailand, the Philippines, and Laos. She was subsequently posted to the Singapore Embassy in Beijing, where she served as the First Secretary Political from 2020 to 2023, and concurrently as Deputy Head of the Political Section in her final year. Eileen was awarded the Singapore Government Scholarship Foreign Service in 2011, and she went on to pursue higher studies in China and in South Korea. She holds a Master of Arts in Global Affairs and Policy from Yonsei University in South Korea and a Bachelor of Arts in International Politics from Peking University in China. Eileen joined the Workers' Party as a volunteer in the second half of last year. Since then, she has participated in house visits in Bedok Reservoir and in Kovan, both in Aljunied GRC. And currently, she serves as a volunteer caseworker at the Meet the People sessions in Aljunied GRC alongside my colleague, MP Gerald Giap.
I decided to step up because I believe that unity does not equal uniformity. We need rational and constructive alternative voices that can contribute different perspectives in Parliament to build a stronger Singapore. I hope to make two contributions. First, to bring more kindness, empathy, and openness into our Parliament and to political discourse. Differing views should be used to refine policies and ideas rather than be dismissed. I believe that this will set a positive example and create space in civil society for open conversations where we can disagree without being disagreeable. Now, please allow me to continue in Mandarin. 第二，我希望能将新加坡年轻一代的声音带入国会。在未来的20-30年里，千禧一代和 Z 世代将承担当今政策的所有后果，这包括气候与环境可持续发展、经济、医疗、住房、税收等各领域的议题。在制定即将决定新加坡未来的政策的过程当中，我相信千禧一代以及 Z 世代的观点不仅有价值，而更是至关重要的。谢谢 ，Thank you。